Suppose you are a hiker, going off on a long hike, across several states, thousands of miles, and taking over 6 months to complete this journey. Suppose also that you wanted to record this hike via time-lapse. Perhaps this seems nuts. Perhaps even impossible. But maybe it isn't. An enormous amount of logistical challenges present themselves, not the least of which is, what interval do I take pictures at? There are several videos on YouTube of hikers using GoPro cameras on trails, but I'm not wowed by them for various reasons. However, most do seem to use a frame rate of 1 picture every 2 seconds. Is this really the ideal interval? I'm of the opinion that this is the most critical element that needs to be worked out. Too seldom, and the time-lapse is not smooth. Too often, and the data requirements become staggering. How can one find the best settings? Well, by doing tests, of course. I used external recorders and video equipment to record some hikes in Bethesda's ever-popular Skyrim at various settings. What you've been watching so far is a walking speed hike from the escape of Helgen to the carriage in Whiterun. It's a fair distance, and it isn't too far if I've made an error on some settings. Now, let's see this same hike at 1 picture every second. That's fairly smooth. The blurriness is due to being a recording in standard definition and being run through some analog equipment, but sharpness isn't important in this test. The motion and apparent speed and smoothness is. Now, let's look at 1 picture every 2 seconds. This is the same interval setting I've seen hikers on YouTube use. The turns on the trail in Skyrim are harsh, but overall, it's not that bad. I also experimented with a software-based screen capture. If we look at that side by side with the hardware recording at 1 picture every second, you can see a bit of drift, but it's not too bad. I feel pretty confident letting the software screen capture do the 1 second interval, and that will free me to change the external recorder to a picture every 3 seconds. Now that's almost certainly too quick, but do I really want to assume that? Or do I want to test it? The next video will be a slightly longer hike, with intervals of 1 second, 2 seconds, and 3 seconds. Until then, happy trails!